Now, you people, all of you here are the survivors, as far as I'm concerned. You're the people who are tough enough to live in London. I didn't quite make it. I tried it some time ago, but, you know, you need a lot of grit, a lot of gumption. You've seen the people who wimp out. They move to Kent or whatever, and they still think they're sort of, you know, in the mix, and they're not. You know that. They're finished. They're not even human beings. You're glad to see them go. That's it. You didn't have what it takes. You couldn't handle the irony before lunch. Jazzercise for dinner. Didn't have that thing in you that makes you hungry, that gives you what you need to live in a paper cup at the bottom of somebody else's garden in Balham. You gotta have that thing. £1,200 a month, it's a fucking bargain. Because it's tough. You know it's tough here. Look at the faces outside. Look, the streets are thronged with people who look like they haven't been able to take a shit in years. It is tough out there. Everybody's here. Everybody. Everybody came from everywhere. That's why all those right-wing parties all over Europe, we have one here in Britain, UKIP, telling people to stay away, people, going, stay away! They're never going to succeed long-term anywhere. Because you know what? Everybody goes everywhere. You may have noticed. And we need them. We need everybody. You need all the people who come here. You need all the people from the East, clever, ingenious people from Eastern Europe who came over. A lot of suspicion at first. These are ingenious people. Look at what they did after the Second World War, after 1989. These people didn't have a whole lot in a lot of these countries. Their inheritance was, you know, half a cabbage, a rusty spoon, and a cow with a cough. So they had to think and make it work, and they did. And now they're here, and people were suspicious for superficial reasons. You know, just because their names look like Wi-Fi codes. It's a name. What does it matter? Does it matter? Nowadays, when you see a Russian in a Hollywood movie, they're always a villain. Because of one man. Because of Putin. Everybody else is a villain all of a sudden. If you see a Russian in a Hollywood movie, he has a scar, it starts here. It goes over his face, over all the furniture in his apartment, out into the street. He doesn't have a left hand, he just has a blender or something. And all he says is, since I come to your country, it's very easy for me to make a bomb. From old cereal packet and dead cat. You need all the voices. You need American voices. You need the American voices from the further west to counteract our European attitude. Because those people are so positive. They're the people who walk around going, giving it 100%, 5,000%. I'm so glad to be here. Are you good? Hey, how are you? Are you good? To us, that sounds like a threat. What is this giving it 100% stuff? We're European, we give it 11%, okay? That's it. If somebody you know is on fire in front of you, maybe you'll knock it up to 13, but that's it. But we need them, even here. Within these islands, people have suddenly got all suspicious. I live up in Scotland, okay? You know, the other place. It's become this weird division now where people are regarding each other with a lot of suspicion and wariness. You need all the voices of these parts. You need Scottish voices. These people are very good to talk with and argue with. They're very good at catching you out. They'll get you on a technicality, even at 2 a.m. in a pub. If you listen to them, they're very, very refined in their thinking. They'll say, actually, you're talking radioactive pus. The Welsh people, of course you need the Welsh people. The Welsh people have sort of been sidelined because of what's going on between England and Scotland. Wales is the traumatized child in the car being driven around by the bickering couple. Looking out the window going, oh, please. And you need all the voices. You need Welsh voices. They have the best voice in the world for breaking bad news gently. Well, it just sort of exploded, you see. It just, it was fine one moment, we were there, and now we don't go near it. It's just, you need English voices. Of course you need English voices. They're very reliable voices for explaining why nothing works. It's never worked. It's always been like that. It's fine. We like it. Don't touch it. And you need voices from the Republic of Ireland, of course, because they have the best excuses in the world. The most carefully crafted excuses that ever existed. People say, oh, well, now, we would have had it, but my brother gets wet very easily. You need voices from Ulster, because I wasn't actually doing this thinking everybody would be here, but you are, that's okay. You need that. That's a really amazing voice from there, because that just sounds like a brain talking to itself. You don't know what's going to come out next. It's like a Van Morrison song. I just was there alone with my grapefruit, you know, so I put it on a piece of wood. I like it in a box. I go synchronized swimming by myself. You know, it saves on the cost. I haven't slept in 17 years. And, the point is, you need all these people, because people are always blaming other people for the crisis, and you're constantly told there's a crisis. You're in a major crisis all the time because of the rolling news culture we live in. Financial crisis. The collapse happened in all the fun countries. Places where you go to have a good time. Portugal, Ireland, Greece, Spain, you know. Places where people run around in front of you and go, "It's nice, I make." You sit, eat, drink is nice. The west of Ireland, very dependent on tourism. And the thing is, you know, the crises come and go, and you blame this person or that group of people, but the ultimate crisis is never changes. It's always the same, you know? And that's that we're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. All of us. Yeah, I'm sorry, that's a spoiler, but we are. We're all gonna die. And people hate it when you say it out loud. Most of the time they hate it. Especially if you're having sex. If you're afflicted with that condition that makes you go, "We're all gonna die," every time you come, it's very hard to get the mood back. But we are, and we're all, you know, there's no point blaming everybody else, because we're all ultimately alone as well. Here we are, hot fleas in the gulping dark. We are alone. Because people don't really have religion anymore, you know? You don't really have religion in this country anyway. I mean, you know, the Christian religion doesn't really exist in a big way here. You never really had it, to be honest. We had it in Ireland, that was religion. What you had was a dressing up box with some cardigans with holes in the elbows. Everybody would meet up and have some ginger nuts and sing a few tunes and go home. We had religion, the thing that makes you feel bad from the moment you're awake. With God squatting on the end of your bed with his fist pressed between your eyes going, "Wake up, shitbag!" That's religion. Now, that was a very confusing time for a lot of people. I grew up in the 70s in Ireland. It was intense, the religiosity of the whole country, you know, and it was confusing if you were young. I remember saying to my granny, "Granny, how many priests do you have to blow to get into heaven?" And of course, she was an older person. She didn't want to talk about these things. She would go, "Oh, stop it now, eat your tea." But I was persistent. "Come on, Granny, how many?" And she'd go, "Oh, I hate putting a number on these things. About 40. Now, come on, each..." Oh, distraction, that's it. And I don't know where the reminder came from, but that's something that people do. You drink, drugs, food, shit television, amazingly shit television. The things people watch in this country. Everybody goes on about how Britain makes the best television in the world. It does, but David Attenborough's not responsible for everything. So there's some extraordinary crap out there. The baking thing. People are baking and they're talking about it. Baking, bake up. That thing. Cake is a beautiful thing. Why fuck it up by talking about it? The whole point of cake is to shut people up. You've got a cake, it's a semi-religious moment. You don't ruin it by standing there and going, "I did cream and sugar and..." Shut up and eat it! What's the other one? You must dance. Dance with the old man. Get in and dance with the corpse. That one. What genius came up with this? And people are watching this. What's wrong with them? I mean, look at the austerity, the cutbacks, the schools, the funding for hospitals and all that stuff. If you want to cut stuff back, shut that shit down. If you absolutely have to watch something that stupid, wait. If you have to see something, if you need to zone out of your own life so badly, save the money. Just draw some smiley faces on cocktail sausages, cram them into Christmas decorations, and rattle them on a tray. People will watch anything. I travel around in these hotels, turning on the telly, looking for local news, and Jeremy Kyle comes on. Who's watching this horrible man? Somebody, he's like a drunk seagull, battering pregnant voles with his beak. "You did, didn't you? You fucked him, didn't you? You did." He should be strapped to the front of a fast car and driven into a big hole. But wait, no, stop with the, hang on, sorry, wait. The whole clapping thing is great for you. I know you're there, okay? I know. If you're annoying me now. Just, if you're enjoying it, just give each other a hug, okay? I don't... Because I talk quickly. I forget. If you clap, I'll forget stuff. Okay, and the laughing also, you take that down a bit. People will watch anything. Twilight. Pale teenagers sucking the lifeblood out of everybody around them. Where is the escapism in this? Anything. Game of Thrones, which has been running for 35 years by my calculation. I can't look at that. I can't watch the little hunchbacked man put on the amulets and the thongs and the swords and the helmet and the pelmet and the cloak and the daggers and the necklace of dead crows' arseholes just to crawl up the hill and go, the boats are coming. Oh, please, do something with your life. People engage with this stuff because it's easier than talking to the people they live with. You know, it's not so intense. If you were House of Cards or whatever, Francis Underwood isn't going to turn around to you and go, why did you eat all the ham in the fridge, you fat fuck? You know, you watch these things for years. So that's what I was doing when I wasn't smoking. I was watching television. I did some of these drawings as well. Because you have to do something with your hands, you know, and you can't masturbate all day long. I mean, that's... You know, it's easier if you're a woman or something. You just hook yourself up to a clock radio or something and wait till it goes ding and you're done. If you're a guy, it's complicated. You have to get tarpaulin and ropes and secure the perimeter. I don't want to get involved in all that shit. So, but mainly what I was doing was I was watching a lot of television. And I realized, you know, that you sort of absorb voices from around the world anyway. You know, that's why the people who are trying to keep people out of countries are really not going to succeed long term, because not only is everybody everywhere, you're globalized. They're in your head, all these voices, little cartoon representations of all the cultures in the world. I realized this because I did one of these drawings one day, and I thought I was quite pleased with one of them. And I found out I have an African-American man inside me. I didn't know this, but I do, because I did one of the drawings, and before I knew this or thought it, I heard myself say, "That pretty." Now, I didn't know that was going to happen. But the point is, you're in there. All the people are in there. You have a crew in there. When I was eating in the house, I was eating all the time. All the time. And I knew this. It was sort of building up. I began eating on a sort of pretty much semi-professional basis. I would wake up. It was like I was being sponsored by rival teams of scientists trying to see was it possible to eat with your left and right hands all day and night. And it is. It's a question of focus. You have to commit. I was walking around putting things in my mouth because it's comforting. I mean, babies know this. They come out, they look around, they see it's a stressful world, they go, and they go to the breast and they stay there. They don't take calls or meetings or anything. They just go, I don't want to hear about it, num, 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 num. This is all I don't like, num, 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 num. I understand this, the rest of it I'm not so sure. We should have a giant tit on the wall of every office in the country. If you get stressed out, you can just zip your desk over there, your whole chair and desk, and go, I hate Peter, num, 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 num. The fucking printer's out of ink again, for fuck's sake, num, num, num. It calms you down. Putting things in your mouth calms you down. Most of the great times in your life were about putting things in your mouth. A lot of the time. You know, it goes through all your life, not just food, but drinks and alcoholic drinks and cigarettes and body parts of people you admire, sometimes all at the same time. Some mashed potato, a vodka martini, hey, you busy? You know.